Good morning everyone, I am Daisy Bisimpron, a BTL DG4, and today I am going to talk about the importance and the use of PPE or the personal protective equipment. So let me first introduce to you what is personal protective equipment or the PPE. PPE are the tools that ensures the basic health and protections and safety of users. PPE is any device or appliances designed to be worn by an individual when exposed to one or more health and safety hazard. PPE includes all clothing and other work accessories designed to create a barrier against workplace hazards, and the using of PPE requires hazard awareness and training on the part of the users. First is the head protection. It is important to protect employees from impact and penetration hazards as well as from electrical shock and burn hazard. Hard hat types. Hard hat impact protection is divided into two categories, the type 1 and type 2. Type 1 hazard hats are intended to reduce the force of impact resulting from a blow only to the top of the head. This form of impact, for example, may result from a hammer or nail gun falling from above. Type 2 hard hats are intended to reduce the force of lateral impact resulting from a blow which can be received off center from the side or to the top of the head. So types and classes. Classes E. Helmets for shoe where electrical hazards are present, that are non-conducting and intended to protect against failing object and reduce the danger of exposure to high voltage electrical shocks and burns. Class G, where the general use is intended to protect against falling object and reduce the danger of exposure to low voltage electrical conductors. And lastly is Class C. They're designed for lightweight comforts and impact protections and are not intended to provide protection from electrical conductors. Next is the foot protection. Foot protection is important to worn in a workplace and are designed to protect the feet and legs from physical hazards such as failing or rolling objects, piercing or crushing objects, heat and colds, wet and slippery surfaces, exposure to corrosive chemicals, and electrical hazards. There are types of foot protection. First is a steel composite safety toe, and it provides protection to the toes where personnel are exposed to a crushing or impact injury. Second is the mat-tartar guards, or it provides protection to the top of the foot as well as the toe. Static dissipative electrostatic discharge ESD conductive. Its static dissipative shoes minimize the buildup of electrical charge between a person in a motion and the surfaces and environment around them by conducting the charge to the shoes to the ground. Next is electrical hazard. It is a non-conductive and shoes are electrical insulators and prevent or reduce the flow of electrical current from the feet to the ground. EH-rated shoes can also prevent electric shock from contact with a live conductor. Next is the dielectric overshoes. The soles of these shoes provide a barrier to protect personnel from open electrical sources up to 600 volts. Protection is provided against the touch of stepping on an energized conductors. These are typically used for working on a live power or in the area of the live power where the current can jump large distance, especially in the wet and damp condition. Typically used when performing equipment grounding near power lines. Next is the thermal insulated shoes. It provides insulations against hot and cold temperatures, are intended to tough outdoor environments, constructed to resist high heat and cold situations. It is also a waterproof shoes which are constructed to keep feet dry and comfortable in wet conditions. Next is the chemical resistant shoes. Are constructed of various materials to provide protections against chemical and biological hazards. It also ensures the protective materials is compatible with the chemical being used. Next is puncture resistant shoes. Puncture resistant shoes is designed to protect the midsole of the foot where sharp objects can pierce or penetrate the sole of the shoe. Next is the slip resistant shoes. It provides slip-resistant thread for wet, oily, and or greasy floors. Next is the types of protective leg wear. First is leg guards. Leg guards are designed to cover the knee, shin, and the top of the foot from impacts of abrasions. Second is waders. Waders provide waterproof protection for the feet, legs, and or lower torso. Third is the chaps. Chaps provide protection to the upper and lower legs and are usually hazard and or task specific. There are two types of chap. First is the chainsaw chaps are made of multiple layers of cut-resistant fabrics which is designed to jam the chainsaw chain and stop the cutting action before it reaches the skin. Second is the welding chops. These are typically made of leather and provide heat or burn protection from spark and slag. Next is the eye and face protections. It is important to protect against potential splashes or sprays of hazardous liquids. When worn for protection against UV, must be specifically designed to protect the face and the eyes from hazardous radiations. Some of the most common types of eye and face protections include: first, the safety glasses. Safety glasses have safety frames and is constructed of metal or plastic and impact-resistant lenses. Side protection is required. Second is the chemical splash goggles. Tight-fitting eye protections that completely covers the eyes, eye socket, and facial area surrounding the eyes. Provides protection from impact, dust, and splashes. Next is dust goggles. Dust goggles, sometimes called direct ventilated goggles, are tight-fitting eye protections designed to resist the passage of the large particles into the goggles. Next is fluid-resistant shields. These shields are fluid-resistant or impervious and provide splashes protections from biological materials such as human or non-human primate body fluids. Next is face shields. Face shields are extended from the eyebrows to the below the chin and across the width of the employee's head. Face shield protects against potential splashes or sprays of hazardous liquids. When worn for protections against UV, must specifically designed to protect the face and eyes from hazardous radiations. Next is laser eyewear. Protective eyewear is required for class 3 and 4 laser are used where irradiations of the eye is possible, such as eyewear should be used only at the wavelength and energy power for which it is intended. Next is welding shells. It is constructed of vulcanized fiber or fiberglass and fitted with filtered lens. Welding shell protects eyes from burns caused by infrared or intense radiant light. They also protect both of the eyes and the face from flying sparks, metal splatter, and slag chips produced during welding, brazing, soldering, and cutting operations. Next is the ear protections. Ear protection is important because it helps to protect your hearing from damaging noises that may be present at any given times around you. Long exposure to these loud noises can cause serious long-term damage that only gets worse over time. So protecting your ears is an important part of protecting your hearing from these damaging noises. Types of hearing protectors. First is earplugs. Earplugs are inserted in the ear canal. They may be permolded, moldable, rolled down foam, push up to fit, and custom molded. Disposable or reusable and custom earplugs are available. Semi-insert earplug, which consists of two earplugs held over the ends of the ear canal by a rigid headband. Is ear muffs. Consists of a sound attenuating materials and soft ear cushions that fit around the ear and hard outer cups. They're held together by a headband. Next is hand protection. Hand protection is important to protect the workers from abrasions and splashes caused by sharp objects and able to absorb energy and provide high levels of impact resistance to protect all the delicate parts in the hand. There are two types of hand protections, namely gloves and finger guards. Gloves must be worn where there is potential for injury and exposure to skin contact from chemicals, infectious agents, heat, cold, abrasive, and cutting objects. Second is finger guards. It protects finger and thumbs from minor abrasions and heat, leaving the rest of the hand open for breathability, comfort, and dexterity. Next is the respiratory protection. Respiratory protection is very much important to control the development of occupational diseases caused by breathing air contaminated with harmful dust, fogs, fumes, mists, gases, smokes, sprays, and vapors. There are a lot of types of respiratory protection. First is elastomeric half-piece piece respirators are usable and have replaceable cartridge of filters. They cover the nose and the mouth and provide protections against gases, vapors, or particles when equipped with appropriate cartridge or filters. Second is the elastomeric full face piece respirators are usable and have replaceable canisters, cartridge, or filters. The face piece covers the face and eye, which offers eye protections. Next is filtering face piece respirators, are disposable half face piece respirators that filters out particles such as dust, meats, and fumes. They do not provide protections against gases and vapor. PPE is very much important, so employers are required to assess the workplace to determine if hazard that requires the use of head, eye, face, hand, or foot protections are present or likely to be present. If hazards or the likelihood of hazards are found, employers must select and have affected employees use properly fitted PPE suitable for protection from these hazards. Before doing work requires the use of PPE. Employees must be trained to know when PPE is necessary, what type is necessary, how it is to be worn, and what is its limitations are, as well as its proper care, maintenance, useful to life, and disposal. So that would be all. Hope that you've learned the importance and the use of personal protective equipment or the PPE. Thank you.